Okay. Hello everybody, Justin here. I am live. Uh well, last I checked I was live. I apologize for the glare behind me from that window, but that will be short-lived as I will be switching cameras in a minute. So, um I've got an unboxing and I've got a review to do today. Let's see. Give me a second. I've got people Facebook messaging me and I'm live, so I'm just going to put that off until later. Okay, anyway, so I've got a couple of keyboard stands that we're going to be checking out today. I ordered two of them for my live rig, um, one on each side, and then, you know how that goes. But anyway, so I got two Ultimate Support APEX AX48 PRO keyboard stands. I've already unboxed and assembled one of them. And I'm going to go ahead and unbox the second one on camera so that you get to see the experience of, you know, what you're going to get into when you buy one of these stands. And I'll show you how to assemble it. I'll show you a couple of little, things you might want to know about the stands. I'm going to put the two I'll test it by putting the two quadrisynths on it so you see what it looks like with keyboards on it. Um, but I think it'll be a fun, I think this will be a fun review. So I can't wait to do this. So I'm not going to wait to do this. So I'm going to go to my overhead cam, and there we are. You can kind of see one of them's over here, and I know my studio is in shambles right now because I've got a gig tonight, and I had to have one of my stands, the stand that's behind me. I had to tear that down and bring it over to the gig, just to get my stuff set up. But when I get to the gig, those two X style keyboard stands are going to be swapped out for these, the two Apex stands. So now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and unbox these, and we'll put them together. We'll check it out. All right, so like I said, I've got one of them. Get up here. I've got one of them unboxed, all ready to go, right here. And I will say that they are very, very heavy. They weigh in at about 25 pounds, 20 to 25 pounds. So they are rock solid. I will give Ultimate Support that. So if you're looking for something lightweight, you might want to maybe get something else. But if you're somebody like me that really doesn't mind having a heavy duty keyboard stand that weighs a little bit, it's extra peace of mind that nothing's going to collapse, nothing's going to go anywhere. When you play, things are going to stay where you put them. So for me, having a keyboard stand that weighs quite a bit is a good thing. All right. So when you order one of these, it comes in a very long, very tall, like me, almost about a 5-foot box. So I'm going to go ahead and cut one of these open. I'm going to cut this open now. I got these from American Musical Supply, by the way. So brand new, they are about $2.59 a piece, and I'll talk about the different versions of this stand that you can get. So once we open it up like this, we're going to tip the box the other way. And it's kind of stuck in here, so I'm just going to basically lift up the outer box to get to the inner one. Hopefully I don't destroy my ceiling fan, even though honestly I don't really care about it. There we go, and you know what, we'll just... Okay, so I got this out of the box. Put that there. stay. This one will just go right over there. Okay. I love doing that. Okay. So here we are. So they come double boxed, which is good. I'm just going to look at the packaging here. We got a little tear here, but that shouldn't be an issue. Got a nice hole here at the bottom. Not too worried about it. All right. So now that we have the outer box open, we're going to go ahead and get the inner box open. So it's taped on, so you got it taped on 3 sides. 1, 2, 3. Come on. That looks like this is dated August of 2024, so this is a recent one. I've read reviews of like this stand from like 2 years ago saying that there were a couple of faults with it, but I've put this one together. I didn't see anything about that. Alright, so when we open this box, we want to open it with the Ultimate Support logo up here. When we do that, the first thing we're going to find are the 2 support clamps for the tri-bars. And then the next thing we're going to find is the main column. Now keep in mind the main column weighs about 25 pounds, so it is heavy. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to very carefully take this box, lay it down. We're going to tip it up. We're going to very carefully lift this box up. I'm going to grab the column, support the column like that. There's another piece of foam there. That's everything in this box, and this one can go right over there. And I didn't break anything. Okay. So now, a little bit of foam here. This is the good kind of styrofoam, the kind that doesn't leave like, you know, little stuff everywhere. Okay. So it's interesting, this one is taped shut. No, I can pull it open. It's tied shut too. So we're going to pull the bag open. A little bit of dust on top of here. And then we're going to pull out of the inside of the bag right here. You have the handle that goes right on the front of the stand. All right, I'll lay this down. And then also in here we have the instruction sheet that comes with it. This piece of plastic can go over there. And here we've got, you know, fancy little like tag here. So it talks about the features of the stand. And we have the owner's manual here, written in very good English, I might add. And then it tells you how to set up the legs, set up the arms, attaching the handle, the cable clips, the angle adapter, all that stuff. So I'm going to point out a couple things right now before we assemble this. There are a couple of labels on here. One of them is for the angle adjuster, which is here on the right on top of the back leg here. This is for basically just standard. This is how it comes. But if you use a heavy keyboard like a Motif or a Montage or any of the older Korgs that are deep, or if you want to set this to a lower playing height, you want to take this out, and it's going to tip the stand back ever so slightly, so it'll keep it nice and stable. And there's a label for that here that is near impossible to take off. So unless you have like lemon oil or whatever, but if anybody knows how to cleanly get these labels off, please let me know, because they're ugly as sin. Okay, we have a label here talking about the front stabilizer. So when you set this up, before you put anything on it, you want to adjust this to where it comes into contact with the floor. If you're on carpet, I recommend pushing it down nice and firm into the carpet, so that the stand is extra sturdy, and this is going to prevent the stand from tipping forward. So a combination of this as well as the angle adjustment here. I'm going to see what they call it. The angle adapter, sorry. So these two things, when they work together, help to keep this stand nice and stable. All right. The first thing I'm going to do is put the handle on. To do that, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, number 2. You're also going to need that to take out the angle adapter. Like I said, if you plan on putting a heavy keyboard on here, like I said, a Motif or a Montage or anything like that. So this is the first thing I'm going to do with this stand, is I'm going to put the handle on it. With the handle on it, what will happen is it comes like this. The legs fold up into the bottom, the arms go into the top, and with the handle attached, the stand pretty much becomes its own carrying case. So that's a big selling point for this kind of a stand. It makes it ultra portable, ultra easy to move around. Like I said, it does weigh a little bit. So like I said, we're going to need a Phillips screwdriver for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up the 2 screws here. I'll talk about these, the cable grommets here in a second. But I'm going to loosen these up. Come near you. Actually, I'm going to do this on the floor. It's going to be a little more comfy for me. And then I'll show you the best way to position this handle for easy carrying. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to position the handle, position one side of it. I'm actually going to load my screwdriver here, and this is a magnetized screwdriver. I recommend using a magnetized screwdriver for anything. I've been working, even when I build computers, I use a magnetized driver. Magnets are not dangerous in this day and age when it comes to computer. That was back in the days of floppy drives, where it was magnetic-based storage. Okay, so I've got one in. I'm not going to tighten them all the way because I want to be able to move this handle. Okay. All right. Realize I'm not on camera. I got to move back a little bit. Okay. So where my left hand is, I'm going to move over a little bit. Where my left hand is the handle. I've screwed it down, but I have not tightened it in all the way. To position it where I want it, I'm going to pick the stand up, and I want to make sure it's balanced in my hand. So if one side feels a little heavy, I'm going to move the handle to the opposite side. See, now this side feels a little bit heavy, so I'm going to move it back. Right there is where I want it. Now I'm going to tighten it down. Okay, one side. And I'm not going to over tighten. I want it just past snug. I basically just don't want it to move. But you don't want to over tighten because this handle is plastic. And if you over tighten, you could risk cracking the plastic. Okay, now that I got the handle in, we're going to go ahead and put the stand together. Now, when you get this stand, the legs are going to be folded in, like I said, on the bottom. The arms are going to be on the top. To get the legs out, each leg has a button. You're going to press the button, you're going to pull the leg out. And this part is a little bit tricky to get it to snap in. You want to give it a good push. Like this one here. Give it a nice, gentle but firm, hit on the bottom will lock that leg into place. And you'll hear that click. See, this one's a little tricky, so there we go. Now that they're locked into place, I'm going to move the front stabilizer up so that I can tip the stand up. And there we go. I'm going to get this one out of my way. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about that stabilizer. I'm a little far away from the mic, so you might not be able to hear me. But that stabilizer on the bottom, it's a little plastic bar with a hand screw on it. What that's going to do is, when it's adjusted properly, it is going to keep the stand from tipping forward. So I'm going to adjust that right now. Now, because I'm on carpet, I want to push right into the carpet and then tighten it down. Now, if I try to pull the stand forward, it should take a little more effort, than I would normally use to move this. So it feels like it's solid, it's not going to go anywhere. I'm actually going to move this out of my way even more because while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to unhook the quadrisynths because I'm going to take the quadrisynths, we'll put them on the stand and let you see what they look like, with the stand. Okay. Now for the arms. So the APEX AX48 PRO comes with, it's a 2-tier stand, so it's going to come with 2 clamps for the arms. They're nicely wrapped in plastic, so as I open this, I could say Christmas came early. Okay. There's one. So we have the clamp, and then we have a wing nut, and then we have the opposite side of the clamp. Now we'll pull the other one out. So I've been wanting to do something with keyboard stands for a while, so this will be the first one. I'll probably review a couple others. I'll review this one back here. This is a Standtastic 3-tier. We'll talk about that one at some point. I'll talk about the two X stands that I have. I've got an onstage one and I've got a Gator one. You know, and I'll talk about the attachments that you can, a couple of the second tier attachments too that you can get with those. Okay, and there's the second clamp. Okay, so to get these on, what we want to do is this flat, if you look at this piece, you have a groove on this side and it's flat on this side. The flat side goes out. The groove side is going to go on the inside. Basically, it's going to go like that. Go up to the camera. So we're going to go like this. And then it's going to sit in there like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it, the clamp tight to the stand like this. Now I will say this is probably one of the more challenging parts of this whole process, and that is to get this stand sitting level. Okay, so we're going to thread that right in, we're going to clamp that right down. And then these are actually going to go to a gig tonight. So actually what I'm going to do is I want them at the same height, so before I pack these up for the gig, I'm going to lay them down side by side, and I kind of have the other one over here adjusted where I like it, so I'm basically going to take this one and match it up as best I can, match up the heights. Okay, that's one clamp. And now here's the other one. Make sure I got this right here, and I did. Okay. So here's the other clamp. Now the other thing to notice is on this piece, we have a sharper corner and then we have a rounded corner. The rounded corner goes to the back of the clamp. So this side. This one's going to go all the way to the top. Oh, I'm getting a message. No, and I ordered Instacart. That's what that was. So, all right. So that's clamped down. I want it nice and tight, but don't over tighten. Now that we get the clamps on, what about the arms? I'm going to move this forward a little bit. What about the arms? Well, if we lift up this compartment here, and we open it up, we now have two sets of arms. We have a short set, that's going to go on the top. And I'm going to put those in second. We have another set of arms that's going to go on the bottom. And I suppose if you had You could make this a 3-tier stand if you wanted to. If you take the angle adapter out and you put the longer arms on the bottom and then 2 sets of shorter ones on the top. If you just be careful not to overload it. So what's going to happen is I'm going to slide these in and I'm going to just wiggle them up and down. The first time you get these in, it's going to be a tight fit. But actually, I'll show you the back of the arm. So there's the back of the arm. Oh, where am I? Do this and watch a laptop at the same time. The arm has a little hook kind of right here. So this is going to go underneath. This is going to hook into the clamp. Like this. Now, like I said, the first time you do this, it's going to be a tight fit. So you just want to kind of work it in there. And once it's in there, you should be able to just slide it right out. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, that's the bottom tier. Now we'll do the top. Come on, you. Like I said, this is the toughest part. There it goes. And actually, to close this compartment, we'll squeeze that. So we want to go from side to side until it hooks in. Now it's hooked in, and now our stand's assembled. Now it's rocking back and forth a little bit, but that's probably because I've got this bottom stabilizer a little too low, so I'm gonna, let's see, there we go. Right about there. That's better. And there is the Ultimate Support AX48 APEX PRO fully assembled. Before I go any further and we put the keyboards on it, I want to talk a little bit about it. Oh, hang on. Platform. Yeah, I got that, James. So that's been fixed. So we're good now. Again, if I put this on hardwood floor, I do the same thing with that front stabilizer. So this stand comes in a couple different configurations. This is the AX48 Pro. This version of the stand comes in black and silver. I went with the black. It also comes as the AX48 Pro Plus, which comes with a mic boom attachment. And you can get that attachment aftermarket because there's a compartment right here where if you take like a flathead, if you take like a slotted screwdriver into a couple of little grooves, this little piece can come up, and then there's a place where you can put the mic boom attachment. I decided not to do that because I've done it in the past with, I have another version of this stand by a company called Stay, and in one video I'll be doing a compare and contrast between the two stands. And that, anytime I played a keyboard on that, the mic boom would shake like crazy. My microphone would be like all over the place, so that annoyed me to no end. So I just always use separate mic stands for that. And also on the Stay version of the stand, what they call the Tower series, the mic attachment went onto the upper clamp and it snapped clean off. I think maybe about a month after I bought the stand. Um, but I'll talk about that stand a little bit more in another video. All right. So why don't we, now that I have this assembled, I'm going to move it back and we'll load it up with some keyboards. Okay. So I'm just going to grab the two quadrasynths. Okay, I'm going to grab the QS Plus piano. That's going to go on the bottom. There we go. Nice and solid. And you know what? If you wanted to, you don't even have to use, if you just want this as a single tier stand, you don't even have to use the top tier. Like, you could take this clamp right off, and then if you're somebody tall like me, you could raise this up to maybe about a little bit below this, and just have your one keyboard where your wrists are nice and straight. So that's Quadrasynth Plus piano. Now we'll grab the Quadra. Okay. So already I've run into a little bit of a dilemma with this. The bottom of the Quadrasynth is not 100% flat. I'll lift it up and I'll show you. There's a gap right in here, and the length of the arms actually stops right in the middle of this gap here. So the ends of the arms are not even touching the bottom of the keyboard. So that is a bit of a problem. My recommendation, I would say in this instance, because I have two of these stands, what I could do is I could take the longer arms off of this one here. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that. We'll try this again. I can take the longer arms off of my second one and then put it on the top here. So I'm going to try that now. So these are going to come off. There we go. Come here, you. For two on the right height, those stands tend to be too low. These ones aren't. I've got these ones where they're comfortable. And it also depends on which keyboard you put on here, because some of them, there we go, because on some of them, the distance from the bottom of the keyboard to the actual key bed, some of them are a bit deeper than others. Like, say, a Yamaha CP300 has about maybe 3 to 4 inches, you know, from the top of the key bed to the bottom of the actual instrument, whereas an Arturia Keylab Mark II would be maybe about 1.5 inches depth. All right, so now that I've swapped those out, let's try this again. That's better. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So I got a little tiny bit of room to pull this one out. And there we go. Actually, I could have put the Karma on the top, because with the other I could have put the Karma on top of the shorter arms, because the Karma's got a solid bottom on it. But so there's the stand with two 35-pound keyboards on it, Elisa's Quadrosynths. And if I were to, it rocks a little bit, but I'm on carpet and I'm on an old floor. But overall, it's not bad. Okay, so there it is, fully assembled. Nice VR on top. No, that's no, that's a Quadrosynth. But on the top over here, I've got a Mark 1 DX7, and then on top of that is a Portasound PSS 270. Yeah, no, you're good. No, the VR is over at the gig, along with the two stands that these are going to replace. So, my thoughts on this stand. I would say if you are a keyboardist that likes to stand up while playing, these are perfect. If you use pedals, keep in mind you have the two front legs here. This could either be a blessing or a curse, depending on how you look at it, because you could slide your pedals up against those legs and it'll keep them from like creeping away. The problem is if you play sitting down, I would recommend against the stand because of that, because of the way the bottom is laid out. If you play sitting down, I would recommend something like a Z-style keyboard stand where the bottom is, you know, open, so you've got enough room to slide underneath the keyboard, and then you've got room for pedals. But if you play standing up live like I do, I would say 90% of the 90% of the shows that I play, I'm usually standing up. And so yeah, so these stands are perfect. I'm gonna pull the other one in here. So here's my other one. And just for fun, I'll put the Karma up here. Oh, come here, you. And there's the Karma. And yeah, and there's the other one. So at the top height of the stand, you would think that my wrist would be doing that. At my height, it's really not. My wrist is pretty straight. So I don't feel like I'm overreaching. I don't feel like it's, you know, it's too high. I find the angle to be okay. But I'll talk about that. I'll talk about the angle of the top tier when we get to talking about the Stay Tower stand. Yeah, no, you just got the light from the window. That's all, James. No, this is solid plastic. But anyway. All right. So my thoughts. Once you get the height set where you want it, that's usually the trickiest part of putting a keyboard stand together. Case in point would be the Standtastic. That takes forever. Um, I think when I first got that stand, and I'll be talking about that in another video, I want to say it took me about an hour to get all the heights where I wanted them. And the thing with that is, if there weren't any height guides on the side of the stand, that would be a total nightmare getting that level. Do want to check the levelness of the bottoms here on this stand. I already did, but I'm just curious. Oh, that's perfect. That is near perfect. The height, yeah, I've got the height near perfect. I like it. Wow. Either I got really lucky or it was something else, but I feel like I've got the height of these, pretty much where I want it. I mean, I could spend all day fine tuning them, but I don't want to do that until I actually get the keyboards here that I'm going to be putting on these stands when I use them. Um, so on one of the stands, and here's the real test. The real test is going to be, is the Odyssey going to fit on here? Because the Odyssey is a rather deep instrument. If not, what I might have to do is I might have to do something like this, where I take the longer arms and put them on one of the stands, or I might have to take a piece of plywood, cut a piece of plywood and put the Odyssey on top of that in order to get some extra support like on the front. But I'll know more when I get to the gig. I also have a tape measure, so I could easily get the dimensions of the Odyssey and then grab a tape measure and just be like, oh, okay, that's, the Odyssey is this deep, so if it comes out to here, then I should be okay. So I'm hoping on one of these stands, I'm going to have the Odyssey over top of the VR760. On the other stand is going to be a CK88 and the Hydra Deluxe. And it'll sometimes be the MX61. It might be the Hydra Deluxe and the MX61 on top, depending on what show I play. But once you have your height set for these, they're super easy to put together. Like I said, with these arms, you just kind of have to wiggle them in and out, but they slide in, and the more that you do this, the easier it's going to be to get them in and get them out. Like already these are pretty quick. So I want to say maximum time it takes to set this stand up, probably 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And the nice thing is my heights are already preset. I don't have to worry about having to adjust everything once I get to the gig like I do with the X stands, because then I got to remember which height those were all set at, and how the second tiers were angled and all that stuff. So it's really less guesswork that I have to do making the setup of a big rig. Quite a bit easier. Yep, so that's what I did. That's how I have these set up, is the clamp is all the way as high as I can go. So I know that that's going to be super level. Height-wise, these are perfect. They're actually going to be a little bit higher than where my X stands are, but that's a good thing. I feel like I have more freedom as far as standing height goes with these stands than I do pretty much with any of the X stands. I also have that freedom with the Standtastic, but the Standtastic, it takes up way more floor space, and it's a little bit difficult to do some of the adjustments. But again, that'll be for another video. But as far as, layout, it's nice and compact on the floor. It's very, very clean looking. You have the cable grommets. You have three of them on each stand, so you can get your cable management once you get your rig set up. The cable management's gonna be nice and nice looking, clean. Uh, as far as the stability, I find these. I haven't tested it with. I might do a test with the Montage at some point and let you guys know maybe a little bit down the road how I feel about these stands with that. But if Rick Wakeman can get away with using, a couple of Korg Cronoses or even a General Music Pro Mega 3, which is about a 70 pound, 80 pound beast on a top tier of one of these, and have it not move, then I don't see any problem with this at all. So again, a couple of things to keep in mind is that bottom stabilizer. Make sure that that is set properly depending on what floor you're on. If you're on carpet, if you're on, a solid floor or whatever. Once that's set, the stand won't rock back and forth as much. I mean, I'm kind of pushing it a little bit, and this one's rocking a little bit. This one is too, but I'm kind of, egging it on a little bit. But then again, this is also a rather uneven floor too. But if I'm on if I'm on a solid floor, then that won't have any issue at all. But a couple of minutes to set up, a couple of minutes to tear down. They're nice and compact when you tear them down. Like I said, I think 3 of these would take up the room of one of my X stands. All folded up with the second tier folded up. Actually, they'll even take up less room. They become their own carrying case, which is nice. You can get a Ultimate Support does make a carrying bag for it if you want to, protect the finish of it. So if you regularly gig out, I recommend getting the bag too. Or you can put them in a mic stand bag, any kind of a bag that'll fit these. Like these are probably going to go in a speaker stand bag. But yeah, I can't wait to gig out with these. I'll do an update video, but I would say, other than a couple of the minor little details, especially with the short arms on the Quadrasynth, if I was going to give these a rating out of 5, I'd probably go maybe 4.5. Because like I said, other than the one issue that I think I came into was the bottom of this Quadrasynth with the short length arms. So with the Quadrasynth, because it's not a solid bottom, you want to make sure that you have a long set of arms, and I think you can get those aftermarket. So I think other than that little issue and the issue of just making sure you get these level, once they're level and you don't plan on changing the height very often, they're super solid. They are a bit on the heavy side. They weigh at about, I think, 20-25 pounds, but for me, I don't mind that at all. I'd like them to be heavy because I know for a fact that nothing's going to go anywhere. These are super, super solid, and the stand design has been around for years. I want to say since like the late 80s, early 90s. But it's a very sleek looking stand. It's funny. I had been on the fence about getting these for a few years now, and it's really because of the stability, and I'll tell you why. Worked at a music store about 20 years ago, and they had the older versions of these. One was a black one was a silver one, and we had one of them with 3 Korgs on it. We had a Karma, a Triton LE, and a Triton LE 88, and it fell over. It fell this way. And I think the reason it fell, looking back on it now, I thought we had the stabilizer set correctly. It probably wasn't, so that could have been the issue. But the other thing too is I don't know if the version of that stand had the angle adapter in the back. So I think if we'd have taken the angle adapter out and set the stabilizer bar, then that wouldn't have happened. So because of that reason, I was on the fence of getting these for like the longest time. And also, depending on the height of my keyboards, I prefer to have the top tier at a slight angle. And I got that with the stay stand, but that's a stand for another video. But no, I think what made me want to get these is, number one, the compactness of the setup. I actually, I'll probably be talking about the live rig in a future video, but it's a three-sided rig where I have one in the front and then two on each side. These are going to go on the sides of the rig. And then I have the stay column stand, the tower stand in the front with just one keyboard on it. And eventually that will get replaced with one of these, just not right now. Yeah, the more top weight, but then again, remember, we have the angle adapter on here too. That helps this quite a bit. But as far as like having top weight, I never liked having my 88, my main keyboard on the top tier. I've always preferred it on the bottom. It was more comfortable for me. But I think, yeah, these are definitely going to be keepers. I can't wait to play out with them tonight. So, yeah, so I think that's gonna go ahead and do it for this review. Like I said, this was the Ultimate Support APEX 48 Pro. Not the Plus version because I don't have the mic boom attachment, and I had stated why, because anytime I play and if the stand ever shakes, the mic is going to shake along with it. I can't have that, so I prefer the mic on a separate stand anyway. But yeah, I cannot wait to play with these tonight. I might do at some point a follow-up video with these stands and let you know my thoughts on them, any further thoughts that I have. But like I said, other than the issue with making sure you've got a flat bottom on your keyboard if you use the short arms, that only knocks it back maybe a half a point. So 4.5 out of 5 stars for me for these stands. All right, so I'm going to go back to... There we go. I'm going to go back to my main camera. There we go. Yeah, again, glare behind me and a shadow of a quadrisynth. All right, so that's my review for the Ultimate Support APEX 48, and as well as the unboxing. Like I said, I cannot wait to gig out with these stands. If you like this review, I'm just going to go through the normal spiel. If you like this review and would like to see some of the other ones that I have, subscribe to my channel. Check out my other past reviews on various keyboards. I'll be reviewing a couple more keyboard stands, like the ones that I have. I'll be doing the Standtastic at some point. I'll be doing the Onstage, one of my Onstage X style stands. I'll be doing the Stay Tower stand at some point. Oh yeah, and thank you, James, and thank you everybody for tuning into this. So subscribe to my channel. Click the notification icon. You'll know anytime I go live, anytime I release a video. I don't have a set schedule because of my busy schedule. So I don't have a set time for when I go live or when I upload. So just make sure to, keep a lookout for that. If you like to hear any of my music and would like to support my music, go over to my Bandcamp page. It'll be in the description below the video, justinhaveyou.bandcamp.com. And go ahead and make a purchase there, because the purchases support being able to keep this channel going, as well as keep my, the whole music stuff going. Um, and also, and I say this every time, if you like any artist, please support them by purchasing their music. Um, it really does, help a lot. All right, so that is going to do it for today. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.